able to work where you wish. You will not be able to speak freely. You will find that your ability to be independent is severely restricted. For instance, in the town next to mine, it's against the law to smoke in your apartment. My county is making it against the law to smoke in your apartment. Obesity will be a crime. More and more things will be crimes, and they will be selectively enforced. This is the way that they take over. This is what it looks like. People who have not lived through a totalitarian takeover do not understand that they're not going to roll through your street with tanks. They don't have to. They're doing it without guns and without tanks. They're taking it, making it, they're misidentifying wetlands. They're restricting your use out there in the rural areas. They're putting more and more restrictions on what you can do out in the Catskills, out in the desert areas, out in Florida, and they are releasing wild carnivores into the wild. They're restricting your ability to use your water. They're using smart meters, smart gas, electric, and water meters, and this is what it looks like. This is what a takeover from the inside looks like. You can fight it. Join the resistance. We're all over the nation, all over the world, and we are fighting now, and we will win this. We are winning now. This is what winning looks like. When they start calling you a tinfoil hat and smearing you in the press, that's when you know you're winning, because they don't come after you unless you have the ball. And we have the ball now. Alabama has passed SB 477, which is the Property Rights Due Process Act, which says that no law can be made that imposes Agenda 21 in the state of Alabama, and that no money can go to ICLEI or any other nonprofit organization that is imposing Agenda 21 on the people of the state of Alabama. Let's make these laws come all the way across the United States. Yes, they'll be litigated, but we will be there supporting. We want to fight back, and we can do it. We will win this.
Rosa Koire, she is the author of Behind the Green Mask, Agenda 21. And as you notice, she's pointed and focused like a laser beam. Her book is as well. Get it out to everyone you know, because this is so outrageous what they're doing. I've been to smart growth conferences, and they admit it's about money and power grabs, and they admit that the insiders are exempt. I mean, I've watched Austin, which is one of the worst places in the country. It's a wonderful place to live, but we've allowed these fake liberals to take over, and they've also got the fake conservatives up there with them, and they will go and take a family's 5,000-acre ranch that they've had for 100 years. I have these people on the show, and take it and pay them maybe 5 cents on the dollar. They waited 6, 7 years, took the restrictions off, and the city said, oh, it's not going to be a preserve now. It's going to be malls and high-density living. But it's okay because we're making it high-density living. The point is they stole the land. And all over the country, they are coming in and saying, we're going to bulldoze your neighborhood on this lake. It's for the earth. And then turning around and turning it into a high-rise development. And they know it. It's not like your city council in most cases of a big city is unconscious. They are financed, normally realtors, normally developers. And then they call themselves environmentalists, and all they're going to do is steal your land. And they hire these green cops who don't care about GMO or toxic waste dumping or University of Texas burying toxic waste on the edge of Austin. No. Real issues like Fukushima are no bit. Overfishing, not a problem. It's all about home inspectors in your face, taking over your life. Department of Defense over the rural commission now. It's all about spying on you. It is pure authoritarianism, just as you said, Rosa. Conscious, systematic takeover using fines and fees to bankrupt you. I mean, I know you see the reports of the lemonade stands, the Amish, the people selling, pumpkins on the side of the road getting arrested. And even Forbes asked a few months ago, what's the war about on the Amish or on the lemonade stands? And they've said, we don't want you using cash for garage sales. We're going to shut those down. It's happening, just like what we've seen with healthcare, written by the insurance companies, coming in and making you buy it so the insurance companies can now control the care, but claiming it's socialism when it's something completely different.
Mm-hmm. Everyone has to remember, this is an inventory and control plan. So when you find out that, for instance, they're inventorying every single tree in the state of New Hampshire, If anyone's ever flown over New Hampshire, that's all they've got there is trees. The idea that this is a micro plan where they go, when we're talking about drones, domestic surveillance, National Defense Authorization Act, USA Patriot Act, we're talking about control of us and every single thing on this planet. And in order to control, you have to inventory. And we are in the inventory phase right now, primarily, although we're moving into control. And that's why people are beginning to recognize that something is really happening. Because when you go, when you're trying to get a permit to build on your property, and you find out, for instance, that you have a wetland there that you had no idea was there, and you're going to have to pay a $37,000 fine every day because of that supposed wetland. That's what happened to the Sackett family of Idaho. And they fought. It went all the way to the Supreme Court. Your federal government fought them all the way to the U.S. Supreme Court, where they won. But what did they win? The right to challenge the EPA. So, we are in a situation now where every single person is beginning to feel the pinch, where we're all feeling as if we are under scrutiny. We're noticing that, for instance, if you don't mow your lawn, it's a misdemeanor. You're finding that there are more and more things that are crime, more and more things that you can be held accountable for. And what that means is there are going to be more and more people who will go along to get along, either because they are forced to, because they want to be the good guy, pat on the back, little, insider toady shill with the government, or somebody who just, is too stupid to recognize that they shouldn't be enforcing.
Or they're making money off of it. I want to go to calls.
Yeah. Absolutely. Let's talk about that. There are a lot of people. There are partners. Your government is partnering with nonprofits and corporations. Your government, the EPA, is in 501c3 charitable organizations, literally a partner with, for instance, the American Planning Association, a private corporation, with ICLEI, with the American Farmland Trust, with Walmart, with special interest groups. And you are paying for this. And you are unable to make an impact unless you take this over. We have been asleep too long.
Look, it's very simple. I've seen the cases all over the country where the feds just show up and say, you've had Gore seafood on the South Texas coast for 70 years. We just say you can't have it anymore. We're taking it. No money. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's getting so brazen now where these mega corporations just want to take whatever they want through government. And the crimes are just mounting. I want to go to some phone calls, but I also wanted to talk about some of the horror stories that you've been witnessing as of late. But let's go to a call here. Let's talk to Chris in Texas. You're on the air. Welcome.
Hey, Alex.
Hey, buddy.
Hey, a quick question. I was just wondering if you ever touched any subject about Capitis Maximus. I'm sorry, I'm kind of nervous.
So you have a question on Agenda 21?
Yes, Agenda 21 is Capitis Damnatio Maxima. It's where, if you look at your driver's license, that your name is all in capital letters. I was just wondering if the Fed...
Look, what they do is they just administratively, outside of law, we had a congresswoman on last segment, just do whatever they want. It's called tyranny. There's not a lot to all that UCC all-cap stuff. I mean, you magically put another name on your driver's license. They don't care. But I appreciate your call, sir. Let's go to Nate in California. You're on the air with our guest. Go ahead.
Hey, buddy. How you doing?
Good.
I think everything is really atrocious. I'd like to thank your guest for pointing all this stuff out. I really kind of worry about the clamp down on everything. I really kind of imagine that I kind of foresee that eventually they'll probably start finding people because they're going to go through the trash. They're recycling all the trash that goes to the dump. And I can only imagine that they'll be able to take your name and address and then cross-reference it with, like, the last four digits on your on a receipt from a debit card or something like that.
No, sir, what they have is they have RFID readers that read everything they're putting in all the new products. It's already in England. It's already going into Miami. And then they will fine you thousands of dollars per item and just keep raising the prices. I appreciate your call. We're going to come back and get Rosa's take on that, but that's a big part of it. is that they're going to charge you more for water, more for less, not because there's not water. The combines are buying it all up. They're going to charge you more for energy because they're going to shut down all their competition and then make General Electric exempt. That's why General Electric funds all this. It's a monopoly. It's mafia government. But instead of the mafia saying, hey, you're not allowed to have a grocery store, they just say, oh, it's for the earth. Folks, if paratroopers were landing in Montana or Texas like Red Dawn, people would go grab their guns and they'd go fight them. But if corporate interests come in and over time take over your government and get big government contracts as they gain more power, then you don't know how to respond to it because they've got everybody working for them because they're like body snatchers. It's like The Thing. It comes in and is a facsimile that it's from here, but it's not. But this is a takeover, and they brag like you're idiots in just every publication they put out. Ha-ha, our corporate government's taking over. No one's resisting us. Ha-ha. And the caller was bringing up their plan to want to kill people. And then I was, bringing up to our guests, some of the examples of the horror stories. But Rosa Koire, that is the rest of the story. Agenda 21 admits in the UN documents, as you know, they want an 80 to 90% world population reduction. So, yes, that is the plan. That's why they're teaching us that we're garbage, that humans are scum through the fake environmental movement.
This is one thing I say, which is really a tough thing to say, and that is that the Nazis did not really lose, because what we're seeing is the re-erection of that kind of government, that kind of philosophy, that kind of all for the common good. That is communitarianism. And what we're seeing, especially Siemens Corporation, which was a German corporation about to go bankrupt before Hitler generously supplied them with slave labor from the concentration camps. Siemens pushes Agenda 21 big time. Sustainable community strategies. They give awards. They give grants. We're talking about IBM. They also collaborated with the enemy during World War II. They made it possible for the Germans to be able to know who was in the camp.
IBM invented computers for race mixing studies.
Yes, and all those punch cards and the computers that the Germans had came from a wholly owned subsidiary of IBM there in Germany. Also GE, which also collaborated with the enemy during World War II. And GE makes huge, these are the companies that are really pushing Agenda 21.
Because they're exempt from the carbon taxes. Obama signed it. Let's jam in a call. David in California, you're on the air. Do you have a question for the guest?
I do have a question. I was at our city council last night.
Good.
One of the corporations that they're building the stack and pack housing, they actually appointed the director of it to our planning commission. Only 2 people in the city showed up to contest it. I moved from Los Angeles, Lancaster, California. I was running away from this stuff. They're stealing land left or right, and the control grid is already in place there. They also went over the plans of the new security systems downtown. My question is, how do you stand up to these people just by yourself?
Well, they're total criminals, but go ahead.
It's tough. You can do it, though, and you are doing it. You went. You were there. Now, here's what you do next. You get out, go to your computer, and you make up a flyer. We've got flyer examples on our website, which is Democrats Against UN, agenda21.com, and also in my book. You want to make up flyers. I know this sounds like it's not going to work.
No, it works. Listen, you battle, then more people will join you, and then you go into the next phase.
Yes, and you want to raise awareness. This is what your job is now. You are in the resistance. Your job is to bring awareness out there to your town. Get a flyer out there, make it look official. Notice this is going on in our town. Get out there, put those flyers on doorsteps, get more and more people to go to those meetings. You want to bring them down by telling them that we will not stand.
And by the way, we're beating them all over the place if we'll just resist them, because it's so, just like he said, the head of the local building operation that's getting taxpayer money is putting their people on the board. I mean, that's all. It's, look, conflict of interest, all of this, defeat them.
You want to expose the collaborators.
I like your nomenclature. That's it. You are the resistance. Expose the collaborators. Incredible. I tell you, I'm sorry to all the other callers. We'll have to have you back up very soon. This hour has now elapsed. Thank you, Rosa Koire. The book available at InfoWarsShop.com. Get it. Get it out to everybody in your area. Expose